aboard!
Outdoor service owners, rise and shine. It's time to start feeling your success one adventure at a time. Welcome to Outdoorsy Entrepreneur, brought to you by Big Tuna Websites, where business owners learn and explore ways to take charge and level up. Today, we're going to talk about 4 ways you can deter and hopefully prevent theft. We are your host. I'm Kevin, and this is Patrick Harters. Join us on this journey every Wednesday. Like, comment, subscribe on our YouTube channel, and hit those notifications and listen to wherever you get your podcast, and follow us on our social media platforms at Outdoorsy Boss. Hey, Pat, what's going on today?
Hey, getting ready for another, it's that season, wrestling season, so heading to Pennsylvania to a dual meet tournament. All weekend in the gym, but hopefully we beat the crap out of some people.
Awesome, man. Good luck on that one.
Yeah,
that'll be
fun.
Cool. Today,
getting ready for the barbecue. Getting ready for the barbecue as well that you're heading up for.
Yeah, big old BBQ competition. You gonna do some competing out there?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I got 200, 300 people coming in, so I'm hoping to. But I got a backup sous chef to. I think there's like 15 guys barbecuing, and want to win the cornhole tournament. Just got to figure out how to do it all.
Can't wait for that. And today, guys, what we're talking about is ways you can deter theft. You know, it happens both externally and internally. We've all experienced, if you've owned a lawnscape, any kind of outdoor service business, you're going to experience some theft due to small, easy to take away equipment, handheld engines and handheld machinery like string trimmers, blowers. You know, they grow feet pretty quickly if they're not managed and watched over and protected. And, you know, Pat, I guess with theft, you know, we've got 4 ways we're going to list here, but you're never going to 100% prevent thieves and people. They look at opportunities, they're going to take it. And the best thing we can do as business owners is just, you know, protect it the best we can, but also help discourage thieves in any way we can.
Yeah, it's a hard lesson to learn because you bring people in, you know, they're your family, they're part of your team, you're building this culture, and you just don't assume someone's going to steal. Like, you know, I'm never walking into a store going like, hey, maybe I don't have to pay for this candy bar. It like never crosses my mind. And so you just assume people are good, but, you know, you bring somebody on, and I've seen it with real trusted people like that are working for a company for 20 years, and all of a sudden they take your hard-earned money, take what you've worked so hard for, and just take it from you because they're entitled or whatever the reason.
Right.
So it's so important to have some protocols and be on the lookout. And you know, it's one of the things that isn't fun to talk about, or, you know, fun to think like, hey, this guy that I've invested so much in is, you know, grabbing something and taking it from me. And
yeah, you know, let's start off. Here's a little backstory of a theft that occurred at my warehouse, and I'll add it to the stage here. And this person came in, we gave him the back code to the warehouse only, and he would come in on weekends to do some equipment maintenance, and you can see him here coming in on a Saturday. And what he had done there, which you can't see off camera, is he got into the first door going into the office and unlocked that, which had a PIN code on the handle. So he got the PIN code somehow. So he unlocked all the front doors, and thinking that we didn't have any cameras at the front, he then pulls in, and this is a neighbor's camera that we had access to afterwards once we realized we got robbed. And then he goes into the front door that's already opened because he did that already, thinking we didn't have cameras here. And he proceeds to take some brand new handheld equipment. That's an edger, looks like steel, that we had laid out in the office. A brand new set of equipment, blowers, string trimmers, edgers, getting ready to inventory them, label them with our asset stickers and whatnot, and distributed them to the crew the following week. So he caught wind that we got this brand new batch in and made this plan, which didn't serve him well at the end. But come that Monday, we realized, hey, all the equipment's gone. And we proceeded to check our security camera footage. and then went to the neighbor as well for his. And we caught him, red-handed, so to speak, and called the police, and they were here for him that Monday morning and took him in. It's unfortunate that we would have to prosecute someone, but this stuff is expensive, and the main thing, Pat, it's time consuming to deal with now because, hey, we had planned on having a brand new replacement blower or string trimmer ready to go for the crew to head out early a.m. Monday, and now we can't. So now we, punt,
out.
so to speak.
And so that was against the rules for you. You had that in the employee handbook, like,
yeah,
don't sell my brand new equipment to the pawn shop.
Yeah, thou shalt not steal is priority one. And you wouldn't think you'd have to put these things in your company handbooks or your training onboarding, but and you kind of don't want to talk about it because it's kind of an icky thing that you're gonna, and you don't want to treat employees as potential criminals either. But if someone sees the opportunity and you don't have a good process behind it, it's typically gonna happen,
You
like
you ever watch Seinfeld?
Yeah.
Do you remember where George got caught, sleeping with the cleaning woman? He's like, is that frowned upon in this establishment? Because quite frankly, my last job, they encouraged it. And he's like, get out.
Get out of here.
Yeah, it's something that, like, for a normal person, like the other business owner that got the video camera, like, you're typically not worried about them coming in and stealing something. But there's a lot of things that can happen. Employees can feel that they've been cheated on something, or they're not earning or getting the raise that they want, So it could be someone that's brand new that's just, a born thief, or you get somebody that just goes, hey, they need something. And, I was talking to a lighting guy, and, we had a run in years ago and got like shortchanged out of a lot of money with him. And, we're just talking, and he's like, well, a lot of times when things get tough, people don't always make the bad decisions. And I was like, well, that's integrity. Like, integrity is totally like, it's going to be hard for me to do X. I talked to a lot of landscapers, and they're like, going back and replacing trees right now is not a fun thing to do. It sucks. It's like, but it's the right thing to do. It'd be a lot better to go like, oh, I'm going to pretend my phone didn't ring.
Yeah.
But that's the integrity of going like, well, I got to do the right thing. And, unfortunately, if you're going to have 5, 10, 20 people working for you, you could assume one of them is looking for an angle to go, how do I get some free money?
Yeah. And we would, especially, we know these guys, some of the employees, they're making 15 to 25 an hour. It's hard to make a living on that nowadays, but we oftentimes would have to give them a first check draw ahead of their paycheck because they were hurting so bad. Graciously do that for people if they asked. And of course, they'd have to sign something saying, hey, I'm borrowing X. We get to draw out X amount a week to get that payback. But so it's not like we cut off people in the desperate times of need. We did that. We were understood that their situations at times. All right. So number one, we have ways to deter and prevent, hopefully, is proper labeling and marking of your equipment once it comes in or you buy it. Like I mentioned, we would clearly label in inventory all equipment, serial numbers, make and model, put them in an Excel sheet and save that. And we also put which truck or person we were going to issue that new equipment piece to, what the date was when we bought it, what the date was when we issued it. And then, Pat, each truck and crew would have a list of their assigned equipment, serial numbers, and we would have these asset tags that are waterproof also made. So that was an internal system of numbering. So it had, we call them Fontaine Landscaping IDs, and we would put those, once we bought the equipment, we would put them in places that people can't really see them because we didn't want people to take these off, even though they were heavy duty metallic. We would actually hide them from easy viewing because we knew if, we just didn't want to give people the opportunity to see something that's potential tracking and then take it off. And
Yeah.
kind of similar to clothing stores, you'll find tracking devices like inside of a pouch or something. So it's like
Yep.
those little magnetic teeny things hidden
Yep.
somewhere. And you will just add a site, and we would do that. And once your crews realize that you're really tracking everything, all this equipment, no matter down to the gas cans, it's a great way to deter once they see you're really prolific with all this inventorying type um,
Yeah. Yeah, you
management.
can't have community equipment. It just disappears. If nobody has ownership on it, and it's just like grab whichever stringer you want, grab whichever for us, like wire cutters and,
Yeah,
electrical devices. It's like, if it's everybody sharing it, then it's like, how did that go missing? I'm just buying them every month. So you do have to have, not only the protocols of like marking them, but also they're assigned to somebody. And so if somebody's tools go missing, we usually have a grace period, and then we have a staging up. If they just keep forgetting tools out, like we talked earlier, it's not unheard of for somebody to leave a tool out on a job just for the purpose of going to get it later. And, brand
yeah,
new drill, and they just bring it back to Home Depot and try and return it or whatever they're doing.
for
Um,
cash, right?
yep. So,
Yeah, and them seeing you take charge of inventory and then holding people accountable. So we would take that listing that we assigned to each person or crew, and then we would have the account manager go by each month and do a surprise check. He
yeah.
would, in the mornings when the tailgates are down, or in the afternoons, he would go and pull out their sheet and just go down the list with the foreman. All right, let's go through the inventory. You got your 48-inch mower, check. You got your 2 string trimmers, check. And he would also, the foreman has to read off the FLC number. So
Yeah.
to the manager. So, okay, you got your right one. Yep, that's the one you got. Because if it is communal and you don't assign specific equipment to specific people, they're going to blame the other person for losing it or damaging it. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I hadn't
Yeah.
had that for 2 weeks now. Jim's the last one, I think, that took it out.
Yeah.
So it's passing the buck, passing the blame if you don't
Yeah.
assign. Next, we have number 2, secure storage of the equipment. This is your high investing, keeping that quality equipment working for you. Make sure it's there every day. You got to secure it. So, if you have a warehouse or storage unit, that's easy. Just unload your trucks, put it in, put the lock on it. Say it's an open truck or trailer situation. We used to use those
Mm-hmm.
really long, high impact cables that are hard to cut with locks. And then we went, Pat, to more enclosed trucks and trailers just because it's a lot easier and less time consuming every day or while you're on a job site to just throw up the door and put the lock on the door.
Yeah, and I don't think you could ever, if someone could take a sawzall to the side of a trailer and open it up if they wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
So there's no way to 100% guarantee it, but make it as hard as possible. Like, we had one time, getting going and lighting. I bought all this great equipment, put it in the trailer, put nice locks on it, and didn't realize someone could just cut one of the bars, pull the
That's
bar out, the
right.
doors open right up.
Right.
So we went to all puck locks that mount to the wall itself. All
Yep.
of our trucks have puck locks on them.
Yep.
It's not 100% guaranteed, but it makes it harder. And the good thing is most criminals, most thieves are lazy and stupid. So, if you
Right.
make it hard for them, they'll just go to the next one. So,
Yeah. We had that same thing with the enclosed trailers. We would back them into the parking lots, and it had
mm-hmm.
exposure from the hillside below. So they were out of sight, out of camera view, and they could just walk up from the neighboring property. And all they did was cut that cheap, crappy aluminum, those little pullover
Yeah.
lock, and then
Yep.
you put your lock in the loop.
Yeah.
They
Those
just
are,
cut that super easy.
yep.
And during when the crew's out working, we've had people, because some of these outfits are professional, air quotes, that they drive around town looking for
Mm-hmm.
opportunities. So if you have we've had visible shop yards from the highway where they
Yep.
make a plan of attack and check us out and see what they can get away with on a weekend or late at night. And other times, Pat, while the crews are working, they'll see how long it took my guys to leave the truck and trailer,
Mm-hmm.
how long it takes them to come back. And we've had stuff stolen right there off the main road
At the
on a
job.
job site. And foreman and crew sees these people leaning over in the trailers and whatever, and they've been running to them, but it's too late
Yeah.
because it takes only like 1 or 2 seconds to grab that backpack blower or whatever.
If I have to replace 5 blowers, that's money that's coming out of the company. And like, we always talk about in our companies, like, hey, a rising tide lifts all the ships. Like, if the company's profitable and we can afford to pay more, we will. But if I'm going back and paying for somebody who wasn't even a good worker or who was just stealing from me, nobody's
It
winning
adds
on
up.
that.
No,
Yeah.
and it adds up. Obviously insurance claim and it's a $500 or $1,000 deductible, but it's the time that you
Yeah.
now have to go run, get some more equipment. Because once that stuff leaves and someone hits an out of town or out of state pawn shop, man, even if you have serial numbers written down, it's gone.
Yeah.
It takes no time for them to buzz off the serial numbers, scratch them off, do whatever, and sell them to an underground person. There,
Yep.
it's gone. So
Yeah.
it's going to take you time to replenish your equipment again and get you back on the road. So it's a big inconvenience, not to mention your wallet. Number 3, regular inventory checks. We dove into this a little bit. So consistently check upon equipment, make sure it's there on a rainy day or a weekend. You yourself, as the owner, may go out and check out what's in your storage lockers. Do an inventory check to make sure it's still all there.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes regular managing from you and your team. And Pat, with those foreman issued equipment issued checks, they were part of that experience and part of the management. It's their responsibility as a foreman, since they're getting paid more, to
Mm-hmm.
drive and rule that truck as the leader. It's their job to make sure all the guys, as they come in to the truck at each property, that they're doing a little check and balance system every property to say, okay, look at the racks inside the trailer, and yep, we got all the stuff. All right, let's go. Boom. So
Yeah.
they're in it as well. So make it a complete event for everybody to be involved with, and then tier up the level of security from there.
Yeah. And there are tools out there that we should be using to monitor. QuickBooks is an amazing tool. And I had a good friend that he got a Coral's gas station so the guys could all fill up. They could monitor everything. They had cameras on it. And just his weekly checkup,
Yep.
going through his books, he started going, why are these fill ups, $125 instead of $75? And it was
Mm-hmm.
just people were pulling in with 2 cars. They'd pull up with their personal vehicle in the truck, 2 guys in on it, and
Well,
they're just filling up their own person. So there's lots of ways that people like try and game the system. Gas is a
yeah,
huge one where you could.
gas was the big one, and
Yeah.
we've had fuel theft as well, and we use Corals, and Corals is
Mm-hmm.
a great tool for you to consider adding to your repertoire because they have cameras. It's not manned, so you don't have to worry about them wasting a lot of time. But we had people, foremen, that would take the card on a Friday out of our truck, Coral's card, gas card,
Mm-hmm.
on a weekend or
Yep.
after work, go take his own private car, and it pulls up on all Coral's security once you see a line item in the billing. You can also put, Pat, with Corals, you can put limits on how many gallons is able per
Yep.
occurrence. And because an F Ford 250 takes 30 gallons or whatever. So you put
32.
that
Yeah.
max, right? Because they would have a buddy. You can have a buddy meet you at the gas station. You fill up your work truck,
Mm-hmm.
and the buddy pulls in. All right, let's fill yours up, Pud.
Fills that up.
That's it. Yeah.
Yep.
So there's all kinds of
Yeah.
ways. It's amazing how crafty they can be.
Yeah. Or even just if it's a regular gas station, walking in the gas station buying a Red Bull and some Zins and some hot dogs or whatever. And
At it.
it doesn't seem like much, and you're going like, what's $10? But if you have 5 guys doing that a day and you start adding it up, you're like, okay, well, somehow we spent $3,000 to give you guys hot dogs. I think I pay you to buy your
And
own damn hot
once
dog.
once someone does it, they pass the word around to the next
Yeah.
person or the new guy. Hey
Yep.
man, if you're going to Sheets, man, just use your card, man. You can get some damn free stuff. So
Yeah.
even I think with Sheets, if you go their commercial
Mm-hmm.
card system, you can limit it to fuel only, and so they
Mm-hmm.
can't buy anything inside. So look at all these ways to limit and deter internally some employee behavior there. So regular
Yeah.
inventory checks. Number 4, motion activated security cameras and lighting. And this is where our camera system helped us here at that situation. But if you can't, Pat, you were mentioning there's some cool uh, wireless and other kind of cameras if you can't get traditional wired.
Yeah, I mean, and some of the traditional wire isn't as crazy expensive. It's not like calling ADT out and building this entire system. You could do some things online that are pretty inexpensive. You could do some game cams. They could always be cut down, but you hide a camera up in a tree that goes right to the internet. So, if you're out there hunting and you see like you could see where the bucks are going, you could do the same thing in your business. So there are ways to monitor it. We also
Yeah.
are really big into monitoring, putting cameras in every truck. And the
Okay.
Zuby is what we use. A great little device. First, it was just to track where the guys are going, and you'll find guys like I've caught guys going home and having lunch at home, and it's like where the hell did so it'll notify us when they get to spots, but then having a forward-facing camera, a camera facing it with them,
Hmm.
and a lot of people hate it because they feel they're on camera, but I don't really give a crap. I'm like, I'm protecting
That's
them if
what it
there's an
is.
accident, and
Yeah.
I want to know what's going on if they're pulling off the side of the road for a half hour to have a smoke and then get to the job and have lunch break, things like that.
Yeah. It's
Just
just keeping them honest. That's all it's
yeah,
doing.
yep,
And that's a great thing to have. So cameras, hunting cams, wireless cams, you can buy packages on Amazon. And what was cool, Pat, about the one we have and had in our warehouse there, it had ability to send me a signal to my phone
yeah, yeah,
once it goes off because it's motion activated. And if it was
yep.
like after hours, I would look
Hmm.
at it and say, "Oh, what's going on here on this camera?"
I think we did Ring cameras around the office, so
Ring.
put a bunch of Ring
There you go.
cameras up, and it notifies my head guy. He gets an email or a text message anything that pops up at night during the day when people are coming
Yeah.
in and out. So it seems obsessive, and I'm like, you know, I tend to be where I just want to be left alone and, more libertarian on that standpoint. But, it's unfortunate you have to set up these checklists. Otherwise, you just get taken advantage of. So we
Yeah.
work too hard to get jobs, to perform well, to do everything, to just throw $1,000 out, which is, 5, 10,000 bucks in sales you have to make up for that theft.
In addition to cameras, which I think is important, lighting. So the darker it is outside or in your storage areas, the more opportunity thieves will think that, oh, I can't be seen. So put in motion censored floodlights wherever
Hmm.
you can, and as long as it's lit up nice, that deters theft because they people don't want to be seen as they're tiptoeing around out in your yard. So that's a big one too, is have really good lighting,
Yeah.
security lighting.
I mean, I think it's also important on there's a lot of stories you'll hear of if you're not on top of QuickBooks and you're not in your books consistently and reviewing things. I had a good friend ran a patio company for years and he had a little old lady she set up a fake account, just 3,500 bucks a month that went into, looked like it was paying a vendor. And
Oh
she went
wow.
years paying this, it just went right to her. So it was hundreds of thousands of dollars that she took over
Wow.
a period of time period. And, that's just fraud that's happening where you're neglecting, like, how do you not know that $3,500 is coming out? Like, we should be on our numbers. And I talk to a lot of guys, like, they love the design, they love the installs, running the business, and they get to the accounting side and they're like, oh, and it's not my favorite thing. I was a finance major and I personally hate it.
Right.
But it's a duty you have. It's like your number one responsibility is making sure that there's finances in your company. And if you don't have the money to run it, then you're screwed.
Yeah.
So with that, like you have to be in your books. And,
Yep.
I know a lot of people have tried to delegate that out or pay someone else to do it and then find out that that person's taking their money. You see it all the time in sports. Some athlete like makes $100 million and is broke at age 35 because they just assign that off to people.
Oh
And
yeah.
I love this saying, money is a mistress. And if you don't pay attention to her, she leaves you.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, keep
So-
her close. So everything we're doing is management tools for owners, is keeping things that are important in your mindset, in your proactiveness as an owner to check upon and ensure you have these checks and balances. That's all we're talking about, to keep that money coming in, baby.
Too much work otherwise. We work too hard
Yeah.
to not manage it and take care of it. So
Hell
keep
yeah.
your money.
Keep your money. It's a good thing. Well, that wraps up this episode, guys. Let us know any questions you have down in the comments, or ways you're safeguarding your equipment and leveling up your business. Make sure you subscribe to the Outdoorsy Entrepreneur YouTube channel and hit those notifications, and listen to wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on our social media platform at Outdoorsy Boss. Tools we love and highly recommend: Big Tuna Websites and House Call Pro. We got money-saving links down in the description below. Big thanks for everybody watching, and we can't wait to see you guys in the next episode.
All aboard!